music. Shutterstock Music.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Black College Experience. I am Big D in Baton Rouge, and I'm one half of the Black College Experience team. And we have in Atlanta the founder of Black College Experience, Keisha Kelly. What's going on, Kels?
Hi, everybody.
Oh, man. We're almost at the end of football season.
We are almost at the
HBCUs.
end.
Yes.
It's getting good.
But we're going to save that for the later part of the show to talk about what's happening in football. But we got an exciting show for you today. It's getting down to the nitty gritty, came down to the nitty gritty in Houston. But hey, it's just all HBCU sports for me, Kels.
It is. It's so much going on. I mean, you have football that's getting ready to close out with Celebration Bowl coming in. You had SWAC championship that just closed out yesterday. You have the two best teams that match up, of course. You have a lot of great things in basketball that's happened with some of these teams being undefeated. Right now you have a Morehouse team that's 8-0. So, they blew out a Payne College 100-57 yesterday. So you have a lot of great things that's going on. You got some swimming going on over in the MEAC. You got some bowling going on. So it's a lot of great things that's going on. But let's start here talking about some general things that's going on in HBCU news. Last week, Southern University received $1.6 million from attorney Antonio Tony Clayton and Capital One. So, I don't know, people, the Human Jukebox spelled Tony's name out.
Oh.
That's what that was. So they spelled Tony's name out on the field.
I'm a Delta Devil, so I don't know about y'all folks.
Yeah, so they spelled Tony's name out on the field. But they did. It was a surprise gift to the SU System Board of Supervisors meeting in New Orleans, and he presented a gift of $1.1 million to go towards the football facility upgrade, and then the $500,000 grant goes towards school improvement.
Right.
So, it's not all towards the sports complex, but it is like a majority towards the complex. But the $500,000 is indeed a great thing to go towards school improvements. The Clayton Championship Plaza is what it's going to be called. Of course, it's, that's the name that it's going to be. And, of course, the Capital One Community Impact Grant is a one-time gift designed to help recipients execute on critical parts of their long-time strategic plan. So that goes towards infrastructure. That's something that we need at HBCUs, and especially, when I look at mine and all the different things, you look at dilapidated buildings, you look at lights, you look at like grass, you look at stuff. These are the things that we need when people come onto the campus. It's how you get people into the school. It's a recruitment tool. Right. So, it's really good to have those things. But Southern has been a long-time partner of the Capital One and will be awarded the grant to help the university closely align its curriculum and to current and future high-skill jobs, to provide faculty externships with corporate partners, as well as support STEM, which I also think is a good thing. So, once again, shout out to Tony Clayton doing his thing. We are proud Jaguars.
There's a rendering of it on HBCU Sports, and it's beautiful. It's going to be outside of the field house, and it's going to be like a circular plaza, which is going to celebrate the championship legacy that Southern University has, and that's going to help with recruiting. When you bring recruits on campus, and they come, and they see the legacy that Southern University has athletically. I mean, that's just going to wow them. This is going to be something that's going to definitely help with recruits to give that wow factor when they come on campus, just to see the facilities that Southern University is trying to improve. I think it's awesome, Kels. And that's coming from a Delta Devil. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Whatever you can do to get that to get them on campus as a recruitment tool. I definitely agree. I'm super excited for them. So once again, shout out to Southern University Jaguars, Tony Clayton, doing what they do.
Right. And up next in general news, of course, football season coming to an end. The Black College Football Hall of Fame will have announced its finalists for the Player of the Year award, and it's going to be, of course, Devontae Kincaid out of Grambling University, Trenton Cannon out of Virginia State University, the running back, one of my favorites, Amir Hall out of Bowie State University, and quarterback Lamar Raynor out of North Carolina A&T University. All super players. 3 dynamic quarterbacks and a game-changing running back. I can't wait until this award is awarded. I'm cool with Devontae, but one of my favorite HBCU players is Amir Hall. I'm saying the boy just lights up the scoreboard like he's playing NCAA or Madden. I mean, he puts up video game numbers, Kels.
Right.
So, yes, you can't wait. That's going to be announced in Atlanta. Let's see here. On December 16th.
And it was. I think it's a good thing. It's so exciting to see this. And I hear you talk about Amir Hall the whole season. I heard you talk about him.
Yeah, I've been following him.
When you all the time, but when you have these so many dynamic kids coming out, and again, it will be exciting to see what happens as far as who will actually be selected. And I will this year. I'm definitely saying that I will be at this Black College Hall of Fame. It's really exciting to see these, because these are like these are like once in a lifetime type things. Like, you get the invitation, you go. These are things that we need to be at, things that you're present at. But, I definitely say that I'll be in the building this year.
Yeah. Representing Black College experience up in there. Make sure you wear your button.
Absolutely. By that time, I probably have a button, an armband, a T-shirt, a jacket, all kind of stuff. Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. And also, of course, we know bowl season is going to be starting also. And we have some SWAC representation in the Tournament of Roses Parade, Kels. Alabama State was invited to participate and march in the 2019 Tournament of Roses Parade next year. I think that's awesome to have a SWAC band marching in the Tournament of Roses Parade. Definitely going to give them some HBCU sound for the Tournament of Roses Parade. I know Southern's marched in a couple of times, right? I'm not a band person, so I may be wrong with that.
Correct.
But I do know
Correct.
that I know HBCU bands bring a lot of flair when they travel, and they're coming. So congratulations to Alabama State band for being invited to march in the 2019 Tournament of Roses Parade next year. I think that's going to be awesome. So we'll be, this is some time down the road, but it's just a great honor to even be invited to the Tournament of Roses. I think that's amazing. It's more
because we continue to be put on the platform. Our bands are continuing to be put on the platform. We are continuing to rise. We are continuing to be seen. And when we continue to get these type of invitations and get a chance to showcase our talent, no matter what school is, again, anytime an HBCU is invited to do anything like that, I'm always excited. So congratulations to the Alabama State Hornets for getting it done. And, of course, I love the Stingettes, so I'm really excited to see what they're doing, because if anybody saw them doing Magic City Classic, the Stingettes is the actual dance team.
Uh-huh.
If you saw the Stingettes in their entrance into Magic City Classic, they put on a show. Now, the Honeybees, they do good too, but the Stingettes, they did their thing. They came out, and they're a clean dance team. I like their team. So, again, congratulations to Alabama State Hornets and the Stingettes.
All right. And Florida A&M has a new permanent president. Larry Robinson has been named the new president of Florida A&M. So, as you know, HBCU, we need sound leadership. So, with Larry Robinson being named president, he's going to look to right that ship at Florida A&M and continue leading them into prominence. And something that kind of hits home to me, who knows, maybe I might be able to be a guinea pig in this one day. Winston-Salem State University has received over $300,000 in grant funds to develop a weight management program. I think that is awesome for them to, try to help people with their health. They're going to utilize students on campus to start it. I just think that is amazing, Kels. I mean, for someone like me who struggled with his weight, to have an HBCU, studying and trying to create a weight management program, I just think that is awesome. I mean, because as we know, in the United States, obesity is something that impacts us. So, I just think it's awesome that an HBCU is tasked with trying to tackle this problem. It's going to be an 18-week program that will provide complimentary health screenings, exercise classes, incentives for participation, and a small stipend for completion of all required program activities. So I just think that it's awesome, Kills.
I agree. I think it's an awesome thing because we often talk about in the African American community, one of the things that we struggle with is in hindsight, is weight issues. And you have something like this where you can actually, it's coming out of an HBCU. Actually, we can identify with it better because we are HBCU grads. So it connects us closer in the community as far as like getting the word out. But a lot of times we miss the point, and a lot of people will. And I tell people all the time, you can struggle, you can be skinny and be struggling with weight gain.
Exactly.
As far as somebody being heavy can be struggling with weight loss. So it could be a deficit on either side, but it is a good thing. I think this is a good thing when you bring this type of thing to the forefront and you enlighten and you're bringing awareness to the African American communities, the HBCUs. You're letting people know, and I think it's something that we need to talk about because sometimes people need that push, they need that help to lose weight.
Don't I know it?
We get so busy, we get tied down, we do so many things. Our lives are so impacted. We do so many things. We're often running. You're running back and forth with church. I'm running all the time. So it's like it's easy just to pick up anything to eat and not be healthy. So, sometimes we need that extra push. Me too.
Because last night I was on my way home and I wanted some Wendy's so bad, or I fought that Wendy's monster so bad. Nope. I came home, ate me some grilled salmon and some veggies. I don't know if you saw my plate last night when I posted for what I had for dinner last night. So, but congratulations to Winston-Salem State. Huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Congratulations to Winston-Salem State. I'll be monitoring that program. I mean, just to see the success of it. I think it's awesome. Maybe we can get someone on that's associated with the program as a guest just to talk about it and just let us know how they're doing with it down the road. I just think that's amazing. It's definitely great exposure for HBCU students to assist with that program. All right, so now we are ready to talk some sports, and I see my LB on the line. What's going on, PP?
Not much.
All right, tonight we're gonna start out. We're gonna change things up a little bit. We're gonna start out talking about basketball in the SIAC. And Kels, go ahead and run down what you have in basketball in the SIAC.
Well, first of all, hey Patrick, how you doing?
Okay.
It's like okay, we go start there.
That's PP. That's how he talks. That's my LB.
But how you doing, Patrick?
I'm doing okay.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna go here. We're gonna talk this week in basketball. We had only thing that's going on, basically, like you said, is a lot going on as far as basketball. We'll take it back to November 27th. Miles did come off going against, or do you want to start? No, let me go back one more on women's basketball. Kentucky State did fall to Albany State at home, 55-74.
This men's and women's.
Miles, this is women's basketball.
Women's, okay.
Women. This is women's basketball. Miles women's did take over Delta State University 46-41. and this did take place in Fairfield, Alabama. Tuskegee did fall just a little shy of Clark, Atlanta, 57-62. You had Lemoyne-Owen they did beat Claflin University 57-44, and that was in Bruce Hall Gymnasium. You had Lane College that fell 3 points short. And you know how I feel about this. 3 points short to Benedict College, 61-64, but somebody had to lose.
Right.
You had Spring Hill that beat University of Mobile in Alabama 80-72, and that was at the University of Mobile. And then you had Central State that basically blew out Fort Valley 87-54. Now, I told you, this Central State team, the Lady Martyrs, they're doing something. They have been dominating the last couple of games, and they've won the games in their conference. So they're steady steamrolling. I've talked to their coach, and he's talking about coming on doing an interview.
Oh, wow.
They have been rolling. Their coach has been rolling, and as a matter of fact, I talk to him probably every other day. They have been playing some great basketball. I know how you feel about women's basketball.
Yes.
I know how you feel about women's sports. A fan of it, but this Lady Martyrs team is definitely going to be a team to look out for. Definitely going to be a team to look out for this season because, again, like I said, they're undefeated, undefeated in their conference, rather. Right, they're undefeated in their conference. Now, going over to yesterday, Albany State. This is men's basketball. Albany State did fall short to Benedict College, 57-65. And they were playing at home. Central State, they beat Lemoyne-Owen 90-84. Again, I told you about Morehouse. Morehouse is now 8-0 right now, men's basketball. They beat Payne College 100-57. That's a blowout.
Wow.
That is a blowout
Morehouse
game.
balling.
Uh-oh. That's a blowout game. But let me give you another one. You have another situation here where you have Miles that got blew out by Louisiana Tech, 106-55.
Well,
so, yeah, which is pretty much expected down in Ruston, Louisiana. Pretty much expected. Tuskegee did beat Spring Hill 72-66 in front of their home crowd. Kentucky State fell 1 point at home to Lane College, 71-72, and then Fort Valley fell to Claflin on the men's side, 53-65.
Yes, indeed. Awesome times in the hardwood. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we all know with football season ending, basketball is going to take over as the main sport that we're going to be discussing with you. But hey, I love basketball. I'm not as knowledgeable about basketball as I am with football. But I've been learning since I've been having to, study teams and, analyze games. So I'll be able to give more insight as I learn more about basketball and how to break down. Because, I never played basketball. So I don't really – I know about the defenses and everything. But basically, I love basketball. I like basketball. I think it's an awesome sport. I think it's a sport where – HBCUs can, like you said in the past, level the playing field, take out some of the heavyweights. And we're going to talk about an upset this week by a SWAC school that's going to, resonate with what I'm saying. So, like I said, basketball, what's that song? Basketball is my favorite sport. So, not my favorite sport, but, hey, it's basketball season. Dunks, threes, blocks, fouls, technicals. Ready for the hardwood. A sport that my school can't compete in, Kels. But since we're in the SIAC, and the last sport I want to talk about in the SIAC is volleyball. SIAC champion Kentucky State fell to Florida Southern 3-0 in the southern region of the Division II tourney. Congratulations to Kentucky State on a successful championship season. But they are now at home for the rest of the tournament. So, they gave it their all, but they just weren't able to take out the number 1 seed, Kills.
This couldn't happen. It just happened this time.
What's that? Kills, you there?
Said it just didn't happen.
Right, right. So, yep. So, that's all I have for the SIAC. We're gonna jump over to the CIAA and talk about some basketball there. And I'm gonna run down some men's scores for you. Then we're gonna jump over to the women. Um, let's see here.
Before you run down the CIAA, let's go ahead and take a commercial break.
Okay, take a quick 30-second commercial break, and we'll be right back with more Black College Experience.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back with more Black College Experience, and I'm ready to run down some scores in the CIAA on the men's side. And starting from November 29th, Shaw defeats Clayton State 93-86. Scroll. Bowie State defeats Gannon 63-59. St. Aug defeats Chowan 6-8-64. Games from November 30th. Fayetteville State defeats Morris 86-74. Lincoln, Pennsylvania defeats Cheney 80-62. Winston-Salem, December 1st, on one game. Winston-Salem State edges Bluefield State out 72-70. And on games for Saturday, Salem International defeats Chowan 90-85. Fayetteville State loses to Longwood 52-61. And Shaw defeats Virginia Union 80-76. One game tonight, a blowout. Lincoln, Pennsylvania laid the law down on Queens, New York, 70-48. Love them blowouts, Kels. Standings in the men's basketball. No conference games yet, but Virginia State is undefeated with a 6-0 record. Lincoln, Pennsylvania is 5-2. That's the Northern Division. Chowan is at 4-3. Bowie State at 4-4. Virginia Union at 3-5, and Elizabeth City at 3-2. In the Southern Division, Johnson C. Smith sits at 7-2. Shaw at 4-4. Fayetteville State at 3-4. St. Aug at 2-6. Winston-Salem State at 2-6, and at Goose Egg, no wins. Livingstone sits at 0-2. Kels. Something that while we're talking about men's basketball, do you know how much cross conference play we have in basketball between the CIAA, the SIAC, and the SWAC and the MEAC?
I don't think it's that much. Of course, if it would be, it's going to be closer conferences. So if we're going to play any games matched up, we will probably take SWAC and MEAC because that would be the closer. CIAA, well, no.
Tuskegee, Alabama, and Miles.
Yeah, so you would probably say SIAC and SWAC, and then CIAA and MEAC, I guess. But there really isn't that much matchup. There isn't that much matchup. You see a lot of out-of-conference play versus matchups within HBCUs. You don't see a lot of them.
Right. Now, have some women's scores for you. Yes, indeed. We talk about all sports. It's starting on November 26th. Winston-Salem State defeats Converse 85-73. November 28th, Lincoln, Pennsylvania defeats Wilmington 93-80. Chowan defeats Francis Marion 80-75. St. Aug blows out Apprentice 64-47. Johnson C. Smith beats USC Aiken 61-55. November 29th games, Livingstone edges out Augusta 79-74. Mount Olive defeats Elizabeth City State by 3, 86-83. Virginia Union blows out District of Columbia 83-59. Fayetteville State beats Morris by 41 points, 81-40. Lincoln, Pennsylvania beats Cheney 74-66. Bowie State blows out Goldie Beacom 60-49. Virginia State blows out Washington Adventist 74-38. December 2nd games, Virginia State has been on a tear. They've been killing people. They blew out Bluefield State by 50, 79-29. They could have just played half the game and beat Bluefield. You know, Winston-Salem State beats Clark Carolina 72-68. And tonight's games, Johnson C. Smith blows out Payne 100-57. Standings in the women. Virginia State, like I said, has been on a tear. They are undefeated at 7-1. Charlotte and Virginia Union sit at 7-1 apiece. Bowie State's at 5-1. Lincoln at 3-3. Elizabeth City State at 3-4 in the Northern Division. In the Southern Division, Johnson C. Smith women at 6-2. Livingstone at 4-2. Fayetteville's at 4-3. Winston-Salem State's at 500 with 4-4. St. Aug at 3-5, and Shaw with 1 win at 1-4 kills. So, you know, congratulations to the ladies on the start of their basketball season. The last tidbit of news I have in the CIAA is volleyball. Winston-Salem State falls to Wheeling Jesuit 3-0 in the Division II Atlantic Regional quarterfinal NCAA tourney in volleyball. So they were the CIAA champions. They fall in the first round of the Atlantic Regional NCAA tournament for Division II teams. So that's all I have.
Who they playing against? Who are they playing against?
Wheeling Jesuit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they fell 3-0 to Wheeling Jesuit. Yeah, so that's tough. They had a successful championship season in their conference, but we gotta try to start getting over the hump when we play in other schools. Want a system,
yeah.
I don't want to see first round exits all the time. I would like to maybe see, improvement, winning a first round game. But of course we know, execution and, competitive play across conferences is something that we at HBCU strive to improve on. So I'm pretty sure we'll see it.
Right.
I'm pretty sure we will see it, Kels.
Correct. Well, on over to the MEAC. We want to switch gears. We want to change lanes real quick. We've talked about basketball, but let's take a dive over into swimming in the MEAC. Now, I followed the Howard University. I follow the Bison swim team. I follow them quite often. But this weekend, they did get a chance. The Bison took 5th at the Yellow Jacket Invitational. That was the women's swim team. The men's swim team actually took first place.
Oh,
they
wow.
started off 8th place. They were 8th place 2 years ago. Within 2-year time frame, they moved up to first place. So congratulations to the Howard University swim team. Like I said, one that took 5th place at the Yellow Jacket Invitational. They scored 921 points over the 2-day event. Of course, you had different people. Cassandra Kaplan won the women's 100 butterfly with a 57.40 mark. And then you had senior Danielle Brown claim top spot in women's 200 butterfly. She posted a time of 2 minutes and 13 seconds. So it said in the past 2 days, Howard has set 93 season best records, 23 new top 10 entries, and 8 school records and 2 meet records. Of course, they will return to action after the new year. Howard goes to Baltimore to face UM, BC, and Vermont. So, again, congratulations to the Bisons. Congratulations to both men and women's swim teams.
I just think that's awesome, Kels, because you don't see many swim teams at HBCUs. That's something that I would like to see us get involved in. Is having swim teams. I think it's a sport where we could surprise some teams, surprise some people with the amount of talent that we have. Because we have athletes on campus that aren't playing sports. When I was in college, there were some good athletes that were not playing in the collegiate sports. I want one of my good friends, Antoine Beard, played football in high school, but he didn't play for Valley much. And he was an awesome athlete. Another one of my line brothers, Robert Jackson, PP. Robert is a awesome athlete. Didn't play sports at Valley, but if they would have had another sport that he wanted to play, he probably would have excelled at it. I just think it's good for us to enter into other sports. Like we talked about wrestling last year at FAMU. I think that would be awesome if more HBCU schools got involved in sports like this, Kels. And it's good that I had forgot Howard had a swimming team until you reminded me today. I was like, Howard got a swimming team? But I remember you talking about it last year now, but it doesn't get much exposure. And that is what Black College Experience is for, to give exposure to all of the HBCU sports. And like that's your mission. That's your mission, Kels. Kels? I think I might have lost Kels. No, she's the.
No, I'm saying hello. I'm here.
You must have been muted. All right.
No.
But what else you have in the MEAC, Kels?
Well, rolling on through the MEAC. Let's see. Well, I guess we got to talk about that. You can't talk about the MEAC without talking about. Let's see. Do we have basketball going on in the MEAC right now?
We got basketball.
I think most. Go ahead.
Yeah, we got basketball. But
Go
before I go over scores, there was a young man who was injured when he collapsed in a game. Tavoris Solomon, he's in stable condition after collapsing during the game. Prayers for this young man. He's a redshirt senior from Johns Island, South Carolina. And the Friday incident happened as the Bulldogs were in Raleigh for a noon contest against NC State University. And he collapsed at the game. I'm just glad that he was, able to receive medical attention and is in stable condition. So praying for his recovery, because you don't want someone to lose their life like that, young life like that, playing a sport that he loves before I feel his time has come. But to talk about basketball now, as far as results and schedule, well, I know we have some, but nothing's coming up on their list. But let's see here. All right, we do have some women's scores, no men. Starting today, December 2nd, Morgan State women defeat New Jersey Institute of Technology 55-43. Howard beats FIAU. That's a FBS squad. Well, now that's football, but that is the PWI school, Division One. Florida A&M beats up on Western Carolina 80-63. East Carolina defeats Norfolk State 51-46. On Thursday, November 30th, Bethune-Cookman loses to North Florida 70-63. UT Martin defeats North Carolina A&T 76-63. ODU defeats Copper State 75-67. And standings in women, Morgan State sits at 5-3. Bethune-Cookman at 3-2. North Carolina Central and South Carolina State at 2-3 apiece. Hampton and Savannah State at 2-4. And Howard, Norfolk State, North Carolina A&T, all at 2-5. Delaware State at 1-4. Maryland Eastern Shore at 1-5. Copper State at 1-6, and Florida A&M at 1-7. So, early basketball for the women. Let's see if I can get some standings for the men, because, of course, I can only tell you what's posted on the website. But no men information posted on the website for the MEAC. But do have some volleyball action to talk to you about in the MEAC. MEAC champ Howard loses to Penn State 3-1 in the Penn State regional in the NCAA volleyball tournament, and won a set. So they struck a blow, but ultimately losing the match to Penn State. And in baseball, Bethune-Cookman loses baseball coach Jason Beverland to the Toronto Blue Jays. He will be leaving Bethune-Cookman to be a scout in the Blue Jays organization. He's a championship-winning coach, Kels. He is responsible for winning titles in 2012, 2014, and 2016, and 2017 MEAC tournament titles in his stint with BCU. So while he will be sorely missed, they're going to search for his replacement. I don't see any information where they've named him interim. So they're going to be looking to find his replacement before baseball season starts. So hate to see you go, Coach Beverly. I mean, you won some titles, had plenty of success, but I guess that pro hunger calls and wants to maybe since he has had success coaching at the HBCU level, maybe he will scout and recruit HBCU players, Kills. That is something good that can come from him leaving, because with him being a head coach and having success at this level, he can, recruit HBCU talent. What do you think about that, Kels?
I think it's a great thing. Excuse me. I think it's a really great thing. Excuse me.
So sad to see him go, but but that's just the nature of the business. I know all too well about coaches leaving. And
I think that's a lot of times we get caught up in the coach and we forget that it's a business. It's just like players that are traded from teams. In hindsight, it's great what you bring to the program. It's sad to see you go, but you can only look back over the legacy. But I think a lot of times we get caught up in what in the actual, it's our personal feeling, and we forget about the business or the nature of the business.
Right. Let's see here. All right, so before we jump over to the SWAC, I wanted to run down some other HBCU information that I found. Edward Waters is going to be looking for a new football coach. Coach Alvin Wyatt has resigned as the football coach at Ed Waters. If you're an HBCU fan, you probably remember him. He was the coach at Bethune-Cookman University. Had a historic and Hall of Fame career, 13 career at Bethune-Cookman University. He was selected as a 13th head football coach at Ed Waters in December of 2013. But he has resigned his position. Ed Waters, I think they won one game this year, not very successful. They play. They're like an NAIA school in football. So, but they're at HBCU, so I want them to do well. So I'll be following along to see who they hire as their head coach. There's another opening in HBCU football. I mean, we talked about the openings in the SWAC, MEAC, and the CIAA last week. Now Edward Waters is going to be looking for a football coach. Who knows? Maybe some young HBCU grad or HBCU player or HBCU coach can get their first gig coaching Ed Waters, and if they can turn them around, maybe move up to the SWAC or the MEAC as they grow as a coach. I mean, this is the program where you can get your start. If you can get in, be successful at Ed, grow a program, that shows that you have the ability to coach, and that's how you get your start. Look at Coach Rick Comedy, a championship-winning coach at Division II Tuskegee, came to Jackson State Division I FCS and won a SWAC title. I mean, he proved himself that he could coach at the Division II level, and he proved he could coach at Jackson State. Now, he didn't have the success that we want him to have at Valley, but we all know Rick Comedy is a good football coach, Kills. And let's see.
He was one of my favorite. I often say that I really did like Comedy. I guess different schools, it's gonna make a difference. But I liked Comedy. I liked him at Jackson State, and with the change, and I think a lot of times, a lot of people there, they miss him. But let's just go ahead. Let's move on into the SWAC.
All right,
so
ladies and gentlemen.
Let's start it off here before we hop into this. What's going on and everything that's getting ready to happen in the SWAC. this week we got the surprising news, but not so surprising news, that Duer resigned. And it's so many allegations and so many things on the wake of him resigning. And I think it seemed like it came urgent, but it really was not fast enough, is what many people said. And it was something that I think a lot of people knew that was on the brink. I didn't see it coming. I didn't know it was coming, but it kind of just happened.
Right.
So me personally, if you're not doing anything for the conference, not to say that he didn't do anything good for the conference, but within the last couple of years, we have saw the conference and things in this conference decline. If you're not doing something for the good of the conference, then it's not going to be beneficial. So my take is when whoever you hire in next, there are a lot of things that you're going to have to take into consideration. One of those things, when you're talking about SWAC championship, do we need to realign it? Do we need to keep SWAC championship? Do we need to keep it away? I also think there needs to be a restructure when you talk about the East and the West. Southern and Grambling do not need to be on the same side, in my opinion. We've been saying this for years.
Oh, boy.
So
I knew that was coming.
I think there needs to be a restructure. You have the same teams competing every year is not my problem. When you start talking about support and you start talking about financial parts and you look at who actually does travel in your conference, that does play a key factor. That's just my opinion, though.
Okay. I want people who like me.
It's really not. I mean, the numbers don't lie in traveling. The numbers don't lie in home games. The numbers don't lie in away games. I just think that it needs to be restructured, period. I've been saying that before. This has been like a 10-year conversation.
Okay,
this didn't just start when Black College Experience started. This is a 10-year conversation.
So let's say if Southern were to move over to the East, okay? If Southern were to move over to the East, the Bayou Classic, and at the current, I guess at the current records, but let's just say Southern beats Alcorn, and Grambling and Southern are the top of their division. Grambling on the West, Southern at the East, and they're playing the Bayou Classic at the end of the year. Bayou Classic is not going to stop just because Southern is in the East. Both teams are at the top of their division. They play in the East. Bayou Classic has occurred. Over with. Well, guess what happens next week? The SWAC championship game. The same two teams going to be playing for a SWAC title. I mean, that's why Grambling and Southern belong in the same division.
You're just like other people. Y'all can't assume that it's going to be the same two teams winning every year. You can't do that. Like that's
showing
when
how
people
dominant.
just assume it does not matter. Anything. You got injuries that can happen. You got coaches that can quit. You got anything that can play factors in that.
It just seems like It seems to me, if you look at that scenario, like Southern is running from Grambling, or we can't win the West, so we're gonna go over to the East.
That's not a Southern is running from Grambling. That's a Keisha J. Kelly opinion.
No, you're not the only person that thinks that.
That's just my opinion.
You're not the only person that thinks. You're not the only person that has that opinion. Several people have that opinion. They want it restructured. That's why when you said it, I was like, boy, it's a couple people that feel that way. But let's take my scenario under consideration. Bayou Classic is at the end of the football season. If Grambling is at the top of the West, Southern at the top of the East, you have Bayou Classic settled. Who wants to come back and see Grambling and Southern play for a SWAC championship again? I mean, especially if at the top of the conversation, I said, "Do we do away with SWAC championship?" That was the very first thing I said. I think it should come back, by the way, but. I mean, if the SWAC championship goes away, there will be no divisions. There won't be a need to move anyone away. The only reason you would need to restructure the SWAC is if you have a SWAC championship game. If the SWAC championship game goes away, there's no need for divisions. You have to win, beat the team, go 8-0, 7-1. Whoever has the best conference record, barring tiebreakers, will be the SWAC champion. So there won't be. And
so then, what happens when you got two? Because I don't want to keep going over this same thing, talking about the same thing. Let's move on to Celebration Bowl. Here we are. We have Grambling Grambling and North Carolina A&T. We have two teams
You want
that
to
are
talk
getting
about
ready
the
to
SWAC
match up.
championship game yesterday before we talk about Celebration Bowl?
Okay, we have two teams. We have North Carolina A&T, and we have Grambling. Please, can we not backtrack this because this is a live show? So can we not do that, please?
Well,
We have North Carolina A&T, and we have Grambling because I was going to feed this into SWAC championship, but you cut me off. So now we have two of the best teams, I'll say, in the conference. And if you go back to last year, when you looked at North Carolina Central that beat out North Carolina A&T to go on to Celebration Bowl, whatever, with the championship, with the whole circle. You looked at championship games last year. If you go back to Grambling and Alcorn last year in the championship game, that was one pass away from going back to Celebration Bowl. The storyline is going to be Broadway and Fobb. Yesterday's game could have went either way. Even though Grambling came out with the win and scored 40-32, a lot could have happened in that game to get them to Celebration Bowl.
You're right. After Fobb put in the bench warmers, Alcorn mounted a frantic comeback to make a game of the SWAC championship game. I mean, I was watching the game, but it was down.
Like I'm just not biased. Like I'm not a biased person. I'm not biased for sports. I don't go with that. You pull starters. You sitting people on the bench. So I don't go with that. Like you. I'm just listening to people. Like, I guess people are just, it's hard to just say, okay, Alcorn was still fighting. I guess it's hard for people to just admit that. Because once DeLance Turner got it, he got his groove. But I'm not just you, but I'm listening to people just saying, we pulled starters. They did this, they did that, and Fobbs did this and Fobbs did that. You can't deny that Alcorn was still in the game trying to get back into the game. Maybe too late, but they did do what they need to do to make that game just an 8-point loss instead of the 3 touchdowns that people predicted it to be.
Correct. Now, I will understand Hickenbottom played most of the second half, but was Devontae, there's rumors that he had a concussion.
Yeah, somebody said that. What happened? Now, somebody did.
I haven't seen the actual story, but I mean, Grambling's offense just totally stopped after Devontae left the game. After they got that safety, there was no more offense for Grambling. Alcorn, that was a chance for Alcorn to make a run, which they did. So I'm not going to say Alcorn didn't fight, because when Alcorn got the score to be 40-24, if the backups were in, you take the backups out and put the starters back in to stop that comeback. Anthony Mullins was still in the game. Several defensive starters were still in the game for Grambling as Alcorn made their run. I mean, if there was another 5 minutes left in the game, do the Braves stun Grambling? I don't know. If Devontae Kincaid does not leave the game, does Grambling offense score 60? We don't know, but all we do know is Alcorn ran out of time and Grambling won the game 40-32. I do hope Kincaid is healthy. He will have 2 weeks to prepare or to heal up if he did indeed have a concussion. I watched him on the sidelines. He seemed fine to me. Did not seem like he was getting any treatment, but you could see the difference with him in the game and when he wasn't in the game as far as Grambling's offense was concerned. Alcorn was not thinking that Grambling was going to throw the ball. They lined up 8 in the box, so the Grambling's offense was just stymied the rest of the game after Kincaid was out. I even posted that Fobbs needed to ease up on calling those running plays for Kincaid so that he would not get hurt. But, I mean, gutsy performance by Devontae Kincaid. I mean, the runs that he made, the spin moves. I mean, he just came to play that game, Kels. Left it all on the field.
And even after the game, I got a chance to talk to one of the coaches from Grambling and even had some conversation back and forth with Kincaid. See you in Atlanta. He was like, okay. So he looked like he was okay. You know, you really can't tell from the video, but he looked like he was okay. So, you know, well deserved. And the funny thing is, because remember when we interviewed him and we were telling him, you remember when he was saying, I can compete? I asked him, did he remember that the other day? And he was like, yeah, I do. So, you know, I think this is going to be one of those things, just very complete. Like, he is really, really complete. There was a point in the game where Alcorn, I want to say it might have been 3rd and something, and they let him get all the way to 1st and goal. This is the quarterback. With the quarterback key, you let him get from 3rd and 10th or 3rd and 9th all the way to 1st and goal. And I'm just like, oh, this is so, you know, it's really exciting to watch him. Really exciting to watch him.
The thing is, Devontae Kincaid came to Grambling to throw the ball. That's his strength. That's one of his strengths. But his weapon to defeat you is his feet. I have been watching Devontae Kincaid play football since I saw him on the Elite 11 on ESPN 5 years ago. And when he signed with Ole Miss, I was like, oh my God, trouble. When he played for Ole Miss, his feet was his play calls. He didn't throw the ball a whole lot at Ole Miss. He ran it. At Grambling, he threw the ball more. And people forget, he's a mobile quarterback. And when Alcorn blitzed, he made them pay. I mean, Madden like spins and jukes. On that touchdown run, outrunning the defense to the goal line, just making them pay. That's what champions do. You know what I'm saying? He's a champion. That's what he do. He did what he had to do to win that game, Kels. But
congratulations to them for pulling that off.
Right. So now, the matchup: North Carolina A&T, undefeated, versus Grambling, SWAC champ versus MEAC champ. Who do you feel is going? I know you don't get score predictions, but who's your pick?
I don't get mine here is Broadway plays Broadway football. I definitely say Broadway. North Carolina A&T, they're not a team to blow you out. They're not going to blow you out, but they're going to wear you down. Right. So, you know, but in hindsight, we've all watched what Grambling has done, and you only got 2 losses. Like you across the board, they just play solid. They play good football. You can't take that from them. So I think it's going to be a really great matchup. Like it's kind of even hard to even say which way it could go, but you know, it's just going to be good. You just got Grambling to North Carolina A&T versus Grambling. So
right. And
who do you have?
Coach Broadway has SWAC ties to Grambling, leading the Tigers to a SWAC championship, I think, in 2008. I mean, a lot of Grambling people know Coach Broadway, know his style of coaching. I think this is an awesome matchup. North Carolina A&T and Grambling are 2 of the most dominant football programs in HBCU football realm. They have quarterbacks who can beat you with their legs and their feet. They have running backs who can take it to the house. I think it's going to come down to the defenses. Which defense can make the most stops? I think North Carolina A&T has the edge on Grambling's defense. Yes, I know Grambling has a lot of FBS transfers. One that I've been watching since he was a redshirt freshman at Mississippi State, Anthony Mullins, Meander. Grambling has a stout defense. They have Christmas, the SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, in the middle of that defense. But North Carolina A&T's defense, they just come to stop you. I think North Carolina A&T will win this game. I want Devontae to win because that's my comfort. I want Graham to win because that's my comfort. I want Devontae to win because he's my friend. But North Carolina A&T, the Aggies, I just think their defense is the difference.
Okay, and your frat brother, Patrick,
what do you think about the Celebration Bowl?
Yeah, Grambling showed last year that they can play MEAC ball. which is run the ball and play solid defense against North Carolina Central. So I guess the key to the game, the biggest thing that's going to determine that game is can A&T stop Kincaid and Carter. If they do that, they'll win the game. That's if they can do that. If Kincaid gets loose like he did against Alcorn, and then Grambling will win.
I also think this team that we're seeing now with North Carolina A&T is not. This team is better than the team that we saw in 2015. I think that's something else that people don't realize. This team is much better than the team that we saw in 2015. So if they got anybody's chance, and I think Grambling is probably the best team to even try to compete with them at this time. I think that's probably the best. Now, what's going to happen in the outcome, we don't know. But I think they're probably like the best team that competes. So, it's going to be a good game. I think they both have an equal chance. But I just figure that, if Broadway play Broadway football, that's just how it's going to be. But I think both teams have a good chance.
Right. I think this matchup is good for both conferences because of the Broadway tie to Grambling. It makes them. I'm going to come back and beat the team that fired me. I mean, because that's the thing. He went to North Carolina A&T after he left Grambling, and he has built a juggernaut of a football program at North Carolina A&T. I don't feel like I'm being a SWAC traitor by saying the Aggies will win because I want Grambling to win, but I just feel like I gotta separate what I want from what I think will happen, and I just feel like the North Carolina A&T's defense, which basically wasn't threatened. All their games were double-digit wins. Except for, I think, one game against Bethune-Cookman. Grambling's defense has been shown to be leaky. They can be beaten. I know any team can be beaten. But I just think that the North Carolina team, I think this is their year to win the Celebration Bowl again. That's just my assessment. So
the DC from A&T, barely long, by the way. So. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Coach Jefferson.
Sam Washington.
Oh, Sam Washington. Sam Washington. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, former NFL player. When he coached at Valley, he had them in the top 5 as far as defense is concerned.
Well, maybe he'll come home. Maybe he'll come home. Who knows? Excuse me. North Carolina A&T also had a single-digit game when they beat FBS opponent UNC Charlotte. So 2 single-digit victories. 2 victories coming by single digits. Every other victory came by double digits. Anyone else? Anybody else have anything to say about the Celebration Bowl?
I hope it gets over. I just hope it gets 40,000 people in it at the game. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, I know I've been hearing Kels talk about events going on, so I know Kels gonna be up in the building doing her thing. I wish I could be there.
The only scary thing about this, y'all, is that that they build a new dome, so it's even bigger.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's even for Falcon fans, it's hard to pack that thing. Yesterday with the SEC championship, UGA and Auburn, they were gauging around 70,000, and that was like the top. But even when they do the Atlanta United, the soccer team, you're looking at 60,000 people. So it's going to be hard. But the thing is like they have the way it's set up, it's a concourse. So people spend more time on the concourse than they do in their seats.
Right,
because it's just too much to go on in that. It's so much that's going on in that dome. It's ridiculous.
So basically, they built a dome to distract from the event that's going on inside the dome.
Exactly. It is so much going on in there, and I'm like, people are just outside and they tailgating and they doing 20 other things. But hopefully, we can get a crowd in there. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, we're almost at the end of the show, but before we go, we have an upset to talk about of mammoth proportions perpetrated by the other team, Kels. I'm talking about Grambling defeating Georgia Tech in basketball.
Absolutely.
Did you see the game, Kels?
I did see the game, and to see the last minute tip in by Georgia Tech was one of those things. And I was teasing them. I said, they're not going to invite y'all back, because I've watched Georgia Tech play. I watched Georgia Tech play Southern last year, and when the game started getting closer, they kept calling timeout. We lost, I want to say, by 11, but the closer we got, the more timeouts they took. So I already knew what time it was. And of course, Georgia Tech is probably still trying to figure out how or why Grambling did it. But, a win is a win. I don't care if it's by 1 point, 10 points. That game is over.
Right. I mean, Grambling used...
And the thing is they went in with like a less than 30% chance of winning.
Right. And Grambling used a 22-8 run to turn a 25-23 halftime lead into a 47-31 advantage. Georgia Tech went on a run, a 30-13 run to take the lead at 61-60 with a minute and 2 seconds left, and the winning basket. I mean, I think that's awesome to have a SWAC school beat an ACC school on their home turf like that. But we can compete in basketball. I mean, football is harder. Basketball, because Grambling has some tall guys. I mean, I think Grambling got 2 7-footers on their basketball team, and they have athletes who can take advantage of a defender. I mean, basketball is a totally different animal as far as competition wise. I know. Upsets like this don't happen often, but it's good to see it when they happen. I mean, that lets other talented players know that, hey, I could come to an HBCU team and get exposure, play, be a part of some upsets, and try to find my way to the NBA. I just wonder who's going to be the first 5-star basketball player to commit to an HBCU. I mean, Duke and Kentucky get them all the time. I want to see who's going to be the first 5-star basketball player to commit to an HBCU and then be a one and done. I don't think we've ever had a one and done in HBCU basketball. Not in my generation.
Not that we would be in the same generation, so not that I know of.
So
the closest we done came is the closest we done came is Dennis Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Dennis Smith. Okay. So, but that's all I have for tonight. In 2 weeks, Celebration Bowl will be happening. Kels gonna be rocking it. Are you gonna be working, Kels, or are you gonna be sitting back and enjoying?
Well, because it's my birthday weekend, I'm still debating.
No, you need to take that weekend off. Party.
It's my birthday weekend. I will be 37 years old, so we are debating. But we are talking about, I want to do a SWAC meet and greet. There's a couple of things going on. They're talking about partying, but I actually want to meet people. Like, I actually want to sit down and talk to people outside of, in a club or something. So we're going to see what happens. I mean, yeah, I'm old, so I can't tell you how to actually go, but yeah.
Yes, indeed. So we'll be back next week to update you on the week's sports action and news for Big D down here in Baton Rouge. Have a good night.
Good night.